No pulse. No pulse.
No breathing. No breathing.
No heartbeat. No heartbeat.
So maybe this isn't the talk we wanted, but the talk we needed. Involution is a process that is a part of creation. So in a sense, it's a part of alchemy, because alchemy is the divine chemistry. It's how creation's nature comes into being. And so how we know that it comes into being is through many different processes, but they can be summed up as processes between an involuted state and an evoluted state. So an involution and an evolution. And when it's in an involuted state, meaning the opposite of evolution, that doesn't necessarily imply that it's negative. But there are, like with everything else in this reality, negative aspects to involution. And so involution in its most positive sense of the term can just be seen as the outbreath of creation. We're immersed into our creation. And that's why we see within Gnosticism and, its counterpart, in my opinion, Hermeticism, going like prison planet or potential paradise. Like it's because of the positive side of involution, which is, one could look at even just neutral rather than positive, but it's like being in creation, being in the artwork, the material realm. So we're so immersed inside the artwork. It's known as being like almost a meditative state, like when you're doing something you love, so much so that you forget about time. And then there's, of course, its counterpart. Like everything else in this reality, it has a positive or exalted expression and then a negative or detrimental expression. And so when involution is involuted in its negative form, that's when it is pulling consciousness into a sleep state. It's the forces within creation, the archons, that are the extensions of personified forces of separation within the cosmos that act as the ways within ourselves, so the inner and outer world. But the forces of involution are the ways that we see in the external realm, as well as their matching corresponding parts in the internal realm that pull us into the sleep state of unconsciousness or skepticism. And so the involution has a swing, which we know in Hermeticism as the law of rhythm. And so within that swing, we have the nature compelling itself into one impulse, which is one side of that swing. And when it's compelling itself into this one impulse, it's to materialize, but not just materialize. It is to fragment so thoroughly into the material that it calcifies. And so really involution, in its worst, most negative interpretation of this esoteric term, is to calcify. It is to disconnect one from spirit.